Imagine the ultimate endgame, not just a rocket company and not just a chatbot. We are talking about the cold, calculated fusion of physical infrastructure and digital consciousness. This isn't just about Elon Musk moving money between his own bank accounts. This is the birth of the first truly vertical orbital monopoly, valued at a staggering $1.25 trillion. For decades, the world watched SpaceX dominate the launch market, effectively bankrupting legacy aerospace and ending the era of slow, bureaucratic government space programs. But the world missed the subtle shift. The bottleneck for Mars was never just the Raptor engines or the stainless steel hull of Starship. It was the data processing required to manage a multi-planetary species. To colonize a planet or manage a constellation of 42,000 Starlink satellites, you don't need more human pilots. You need a godlike intelligence capable of making 1 billion micro-decisions every single second. This is why SpaceX didn't just invest in xAI. They absorbed it. They turned Grok into the nervous system of the most powerful machine in human history. This is the story of how the final frontier became a closed-loop ecosystem and why your digital future is now permanently tethered to a Falcon 9. To understand why this merger is the heist of the century, we have to look at the massive capital sinkhole that is modern generative AI. Training a frontier model today isn't just about clever code. It is a brutal war of attrition, fought with hardware and electricity. We are talking about tens of billions of dollars in capital expenditure just to stay in the race. You need H100s, H200s, and eventually, custom silicon that doesn't even exist yet. But there is a silent killer in the AI industry that Silicon Valley rarely talks about: the physical limit of the power grid. While Google, Meta, and Microsoft are fighting for terrestrial real estate, begging local governments for access to water and electricity to cool their data centers, SpaceX has the ultimate high ground. They have built the only infrastructure that bypasses the traditional Earthbound limitations. Starlink is currently the largest satellite internet provider on the planet, but that is its most boring application. Its true potential is acting as the skeletal structure for a global, decentralized supercomputer. By integrating xAI's Grok directly into the Starlink architecture, Musk is creating a low-latency intelligence layer that literally surrounds the Earth. He isn't just building a brain in a jar. He is building the skull, the spine, and the nerves simultaneously. The financial logic here is terrifyingly sound. The valuation of SpaceX has soared past the $180 billion mark and is heading straight for the $1 trillion club because it is no longer being analyzed as a space company. It is a logistics, energy, and data conglomerate. When SpaceX acquires or merges with xAI, they are solving the data gravity problem. Most AI companies have the software but struggle with the last mile of physical implementation. They can generate a picture of a cat, but they can't move a ton of cargo across the Atlantic. SpaceX, however, has the physical last mile to every square inch of the Earth's surface and beyond. Grok is being repositioned as an optimization engine for the most complex supply chain ever conceived. In this analysis, we see the real play: automated orbital manufacturing. If you want to build a space station or a lunar base, you cannot wait for a 3-second light delay for a human in Houston to approve a command. You need the AI on site, embedded in the carbon fiber and the steel. By merging these entities, Musk has eliminated the friction between the thought and the action. This is a vertical integration play that would make John D. Rockefeller and Standard Oil look like a child's lemonade stand. But here is where the narrative shifts into something much more controversial. The critics and the short sellers claim this is just a billionaire's shell game. They argue that Musk is using SpaceX's massive cash flow from Starlink to prop up xAI's expensive compute requirements. They call it a wealth transfer to bail out his Twitter acquisition and his AI ambitions. But they are missing the hard tech moat. In the world of software, everything is easy to copy. LLMs are rapidly becoming a commodity. Open-source models are catching up to proprietary ones. But building a 400-foot stainless steel rocket that can perform a belly flop maneuver and land back on its launch mount? That is a barrier to entry that no Silicon Valley startup or Chinese conglomerate can simply code their way around. By putting xAI inside SpaceX, Musk creates a feedback loop that is physically impossible to break. The data gathered by Starship's thousands of sensors during atmospheric re-entry feeds the AI. The AI then optimizes the flight path for the next launch in real time. This is a recursive improvement cycle. Every launch makes the AI smarter, and every update to the AI makes the launch cheaper. This isn't just business, it's an evolution of engineering. You reach $1 trillion valuation because you become the only entity that can do the impossible, at scale, without the variable of human error. The final lesson of the SpaceX xAI merger is about the death of the general-purpose AI and the rise of what we call industrial sovereign AI. The era of chatbots that write high school essays and mediocre poems is ending. We are moving toward AI systems that manage civilization-scale infrastructure. The $1.25 trillion price tag isn't for the code or the weights of the model. It is for the monopoly on the future of human expansion. If you control the transport to orbit and the intelligence that runs that transport, you control the gateway to everything that comes next. Mining the asteroid belt, building orbital habitats, and the eventual colonization of Mars. This isn't just a business move. It's a declaration of independence from the terrestrial economy. We are witnessing the first corporate entity that is functionally its own state, with its own communication network, its own transport system, and its own artificial mind. The question for the next decade isn't whether this monopoly is fair or if it should be regulated. The question is much simpler. Is there anyone else even in the race, or has the finish line already been moved to another planet?